Hello CA Padasali family, once again welcome back to my channel. In previous videos we have seen about performance of a contract basics. In this video we are going to start from time and place of performance of the promise. Wait, let us take that page. Yeah, time and place for performance of a promise. There are 5 points discussed in this, starting from section 46. First point is time for performance of a promise where no application is to be made and no time is specified. In this case, where the promisee had not apply for any performance, then it's a duty of a promiser to be performed. When no time is specified, it should be performed in a reasonable time. Second point is section 47, time and place for performance. Time and place for performance of promise where time is specified and no application to be made, where the promisee says about only the time and no application is made, he will not apply for the performance. In that case, he will be performed in that specified time. Yeah, in that specified time, that time should be reasonable. It would be like after 9 a.m. and before 8 or 8:30 p.m. Next, uh, third point is about section 48, that is application for performance of on certain day to be at proper time and place. Uh, yeah, when the promisee says that it should be a proper time and place, it should be a reasonable place and time for both the promiser and the promisee. Next, fourth point is discussed about section 48, place for performance of a promise where no application is to be made and no place fixed for the performance. In this case, the place of performance is not fixed and the promisee had not made any application for the performance. In that case, it's a duty of a promiser to discuss with the promisee about about a place for the performance, and it should be performed in that place. That should be a reasonable place. For example, it should be in favor of promisee means promisee's good on, or promisee's asset, or near to promisee, accessible to promisee. That should be reasonable place. Next, fifth point is performance in manner or a time prescribed or sanctioned by the promisee. In this case, when the time or prescription mode is sanctioned by the promisee, then the promisor should follow that mode and do according to that prescription. Next important topic is performance of reciprocal promise. Reciprocal promise means when the promisor and the promisee exchange some promises. That means reciprocal promise. For example, if A asked B that I would sell a car, you would give money back. Like that. Here, A is willing to sell his car. That is his promise, and B is willing to pay money for the car. That is B's promise. So that is called a reciprocal promise. First point is under section 51, that is promise are not to be performed unless reciprocal promise ready and willing to perform. Here the two parties are either one party is not willing to perform. When the other party is not willing, other party is not willing and ready to perform means the other party also no need to perform. When one party is willing and ready to perform the promise, then other also should perform it. Next point is section 52, that is order of performance of a reciprocal promise. Here, when they in some contracts there will be some order of performance. For example, there is a contract between A and B for selling a car. Here, first A must deliver the car to B, or B must pay some advances for the car. This is order of performance that will be fixed in the contract. If there is an order of performance of a reciprocal promise, then this order should be followed. Next, section 53, that is liability of party preventing event on which the contract is to take effect. This means when one party preventing the other party to not doing this contract, then it becomes void. Next point is defined under section 54, that is effect of default as to that promise which should be first performed in contract consisting of a reciprocal promise. In this case, when there is a reciprocal promise, when one party who must perform the first, when he fails to perform, the other party also no need to perform. then the first party can't claim the second party to perform. Next point is defined as section 55, that is effect of failure to perform at a time fixed in a contract where time is essential. In this case, when the time is essential, when one party or both the parties fail to perform within a fixed time, then it becomes void or it must be cancelled. If the time is not essential, then it must be postponed. Next point is agreement to do an impossible act. In this case, the doing of an impossible act is always void. See this definition. An agreement to do an impossible act in itself is void. We have discussed about a void agreement. There are 11 points in void agreement. It is one of a point. We have in previous videos we have discussed about up to the wager. Next point is agreement to do an impossible act. These are void contracts. Next is defined as section 57, that is reciprocal promise to do and certain things that are legal and also some things that are illegal. This means when there is a reciprocal promise, that means two promises. When one promise is legal and another is illegal, means the illegal promise is void. Next, last and final point is defined in section 58, that is alternative promise on one branch being illegal. In this point, when there is an alternative promise, likewise we can see with this example, A and B agrees that A shall pay B 1 lakh, for which B shall afterwards deliver to A either rice or smuggled opium. In this case, there are two promises, that is either rice or smuggled opium. In this case, promise of rice is valid and promise of smuggled opium is void or illegal. In this case, only the promise of rice is valid. We have finished this topic. Next topic is appropriation of payment. This is related to the payment and discharge of a payments. This are defined in section 3 sections, that is 59, 60, 61. First one is application of payment where debt to be discharged is indicated. In this case, when you make payment, you will say to your creditor that you must discharge this debt. When you have 2 to 3 debts or more than 5 or 6 debts from one creditor, then while paying this amount, you will particularly mention that you must discharge this debt. Like that you will made application means, then it comes under this category, that is application of payment where debt to be discharged is indicated. In this case, you specifically indicate that this debt to be discharged. In next case, that is defined under section 60, yes, application of payment where debt to be discharged is not indicated. In this case, when not indicated, then any debt can be discharged by the willing of a creditor, but it must be reasonable. Next, final section is defined in section 61, that is application of payment where neither party appropriates. In this case, when you buy something from a creditor and your creditor buys some goods from you as a credit, then when you buy when you get a loan from a creditor for 1 lakh and a creditor is a customer for you and get 1 lakh worth goods from you as a credit, then the payment of both are equal, then it must be cancelled, or application of payment where neither party appropriates. This means both the parties must the debts must be discharged. Yeah, that's all for this video. In next videos we will going to discuss about contract which need not be performed with the consent of the both the parties, and discharge of a contract we are going to discuss about in next video. Please do subscribe to this channel so you will not miss out any videos from this channel. Thank you.